You got your thingamajig?
I'll open up my message.
This comes from Chris.
Okay.
I'm gonna. There's an email. There are numerous pictures.
Okay.
This is one of them.
You make me nervous when you do things like this, Brady. I don't know why.
Here comes the picture, Gray.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to tell the listeners what you're looking at?
Am I looking at Air Force One?
You are.
Okay. I'm looking at someone holding up their iPhone playing Hello Internet in front of Air Force One, and they, I'm guessing, are military personnel because I can see a little bit of the uniform on their arm. So
All right.
it looks like someone who's going to get on Air Force One.
Let me tell you about this email from Chris.
Okay.
Now, this email has so many qualifications in it. I just want to say, I'm not going to read them all, but Chris could not have made it any clearer that he only listens to Hello Internet at appropriate times during downtime when he is allowed to.
Right.
He is not listening to Hello Internet when he is doing things that are mission critical or when he shouldn't.
Of course, of course.
Okay? Now, he's made that very clear, and Chris sounds like a very, very responsible man.
Okay, got it.
Sir, he starts with Sir. I like him already. I'll start by getting to it. In regards to jobs while listening to the Hello Internet section, I feel I should contribute. I directly work supporting Air Force One missions for the Air Force. I obviously can't listen during operations, etc., etc., etc. Special Air Missions Passenger Service, or SAMPACS. Not only do I get to be involved in operations when the president flies in or out, but sometimes I actually am the guy driving the staircase truck that he climbs to get onto Air Force One.
Very cool.
So the guy that drives the president's stairs up to Air Force One listens to Hello Internet. I assume he's not listening as he drives the stairs up to the plane, but of course.
That's amazing.
There you go. I thought this was a perfect storm. It involves planes, it involves the podcast, it involves the President of the United States. So what more could you want?
That's great. I guess I am assuming that's his staircase car on the right-hand side of the picture there.
It is. He has said we are allowed to use that picture of holding the podcast up in front of the plane. He sent some other ones, which we are not to use.
Okay.
And he also sent lots of like press photos that shows like various dignitaries getting off the plane with him in the background, princes and princesses, the president. He sent me a picture of him and the president himself.
Very cool.
He says movement of the president is considered one of the very few no-fail missions at the Air Force. It's strictly business, so he's not listening to Hello Internet at those times, of course.
No, of course not. Of course not. That's pretty good. Air Force One.
Are you impressed? Did I meet your expectations?
I am very impressed, Brady.
All right.
Did you solicit a whole bunch of emails asking for feedback?
No, I don't think so. These
These are just the messages that people sent to you?
And there are loads of other ones. I have been reading them all. I've even saved a few good ones for next time, and you feel free to keep trying to send them in. Don't bother sending them to Gray, of course, because, well, you all know why.
We do all know why. But
Yep.
Brady likes getting these messages. I love hearing about them. And I'm glad that you have a few ready for the next installment of stuff that people happen to do while they're listening to our show corner.
So I'd like to talk to you about one of today's sponsors, and that's Backblaze. Now, I'm sure you've heard Gray's take on this, and let's be honest, he's a little bit alarmist sometimes, isn't he? Backblaze is a service that will back up everything on your computer, constantly whirring away in the background and saving all your precious zeros and ones to an off-site server. Now, Gray's told you many times that when catastrophe strikes, and it almost certainly will, Backblaze will be your saviour because all your data is safe and secure off-site. Now, this is true. I cannot argue with this, and it's the main reason I use Backblaze myself. Protection and peace of mind. But I don't want you to think of Backblaze as just like Batman, a silent guardian, a watchful protector. Today I'd like you to think of Backblaze as kind of like the best friend you could have in the world. Let's call him Davo. Now let me explain by telling you about 3 of Backblaze's services. First, They send you occasional emails updating you on how your data is doing, how much is stored. Maybe they'll warn you if they haven't heard from your computer in a while. Second, they've got a really cool app, and you can use this to access any single file stored on their servers. Well, your files. You can't access other people's files, but you can access any of your files stored on their servers. What a handy thing to be able to get into your files from your device remotely. Now, thirdly, they can send you all your data on physical drives, which is really handy if you haven't really got the time or the bandwidth to re-download everything. Now, those are three pretty handy things. Let's get back to Davo, right? Imagine all your most important photos and documents, like physical ones, are stored in cardboard boxes at a friend's house, Davo's house. Now, that's all well and good and you have peace of mind, but imagine this. Imagine if once a month, Davo went up into his loft, checked all your boxes, and then sent you a text message just letting you know everything was okay. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Also imagine Davo gave you a spare key, so that if you ever wanted just to come and grab one or two things from the boxes, you could do it whether he was home or not. And lastly, imagine if you wanted all your boxes back and Davo said, no worries, popped them in the back of his car and personally drove them around to your house. What a friend Davo would be. And that is basically what Backblaze is doing with your data. Much more of a buddy than Batman, but sort of kind of both. I bet Gray loved that analogy. Now, if you'd like to join Backblaze, and you really should consider it, whether you're scared or because you just think they sound nice, I can't recommend them highly enough. It costs just $5 a month. It's totally worth it. Here's what to do. Go to backblaze.com/hellointernet so they know you came from here on the podcast. And if you want to try before you buy, there's a risk-free, no credit card trial. I think you'll be impressed. That address again is backblaze.com/hellointernet. Oh, here's something interesting.
Yeah.
Now, look, I know you're going to be a bit reluctant to do this. And
you saying that literally made my whole body clench up with resistance before I've even heard what it is.
And I also don't want to set precedent. So this isn't going to work a second time.
This is not...
But because this is the first one of these I've got, I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and try my luck with Gray.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. It says, "Hello, Brady. This message is intended for Gray." That's normally the point at which I delete emails. But
I'm so sorry you get all these, Brady, but it's also hilarious to me.
Seriously, I usually don't read on, but it had an interesting subject line and it was a very short email, so I did read on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, I'm going to struggle with this. I have lexical gustatory synesthesia.
Mm-hmm.
The way Gray says composed, as in the word composed.
Composed.
Yes. Apparently you saying that tastes like very good raspberry yogurt or yogurt, depending on how you like to say yogurt or yogurt.
Uh-huh.
All the words with pose in them taste like raspberry yogurt, but the way Gray pronounces it tastes extra good. Here are 10 other words that I would like to taste Gray saying.
Okay, but before you go any further, can we just explain to the listeners who are not aware what synesthesia is? Because I think otherwise this is very confusing.
Well, hopefully they're all number file viewers and they've seen some of my synesthesia videos, so we shouldn't have to, but just in case they haven't.
That's true. We can assume that everybody who listens to the show has watched every one of your number file videos.
Yes.
But on the off chance that they have not, synesthesia is a condition where your senses are cross-connected in unexpected ways. So that the usual example that is given is that when people look at numbers, those numbers are colored or they perceive colors every time. So 7 is very yellow or 3 is very pink. And there are also cross connections like this person seems to have, which are tastes or smells that go along with sounds. So so this person has the taste version of this, which is crossed with sounds. So when they hear particular sounds, they also experience tastes. Brains are funny.
So when Gray says
composed,
our listener is tasting raspberry yogurt.
Right, there
So
we go.
they've got just 10 words here that they would like you to say. They haven't said what these words will taste like, so I'm hoping they will then email me again and tell me what they taste like after you've said them.
Well, the person very likely doesn't know what the words will taste like.
Well, we're about to find out. But the interesting thing is, and the only reason I'm doing this, is because the 10th word